coming.
Okay, side flip tutorial. Right, first things first, there are a couple of different ways to do a side flip. There are the ones where you go into it sort of like an aerial but sideways. Sorry about the breath, a little bit of right. But you sort of take off with 1 foot and do the side flip. And the way I prefer, the way I like to do it is 2-footed. You take off blocking, so you take off this sort of angle. Side flip, you go up and the motion of going round is a combination of tucking sort of the way you want to go as well as jumping up, but it's a full body movement rather than just more so a torso movement. So the way I like to side flip is the run up way. And that gets a more sideways side flip. You see how my body was? I'll do it. And that's where you look at your target. See how my body was more onto you than the other way. And then there's the way I don't like, which is off of 1 foot, where you run into it sort of like an aerial. And I'm not very good at that one. I don't particularly like it. A lot of people find it flows better because you're lifting up like an aerial. And people who generally can already aerial find that a lot easier. But the way I'm going to describe basically is how to do these ones. So, side flip one that you saw me do earlier. You have to run into it, you stomp into the floor at an angle, about that much of an angle from where you're going to take off. But the important thing is how you do the run up as well. So some people might go and then sort of, that and die or whatever. But the way you want to run, you just want to run fast enough to get the momentum, but not too fast for you to just die. So when you run into it, you want to go sort of about that pace, so that you're actually getting momentum when you run up. Okay, so that's that part of it. Now, when you actually take off, you don't want to flip straight into the floor. You want to sort of take off upwards. Now, there's several ways you can do this. One way I sometimes teach people is to chuck their arms up before they flip round. Now, this can sometimes be a little bit inefficient, or personally I don't normally do it that way, but for learning it can be really helpful. So you teach them to chuck their arms up. Now, I find that can help them delay enough to get the height, but at the same time it doesn't feel as fluid as if what I find is to sort of look forward, chuck your chest and your arms up. So rather than go like that, go like that. So you go bang, and then as you're jumping up, you want to be lifting your butt as high as you can. And at the last minute, you want to tuck to one side. So this leg wants to be tucking round and tucking away from your body, where this one wants to be talking with it. So the whole motion is like that, but it's all about timing. So you don't want to just run and go, oh, but at the same time you don't want to go jump up and forget to talk this round. If you notice when I do it, I delay a little bit and then do the spin round. Now, something I notice is that unlike the looking forwardy gymnastics way, which is pretty similar to that one, so if I'm supposed to looking forward, you look like to your side and go around all the way. And that is, I can see the move all the way around. So in that retrospect, the move isn't that scary, because the whole time you can see the floor, and if you're going to bail, and you just keep with it, and you're not as likely to hurt yourself. So yeah, that's that way. It's important that you tuck into a tight ball as well, because a lot of the time you think you're just tucking, you think you're tucking like that, but as a matter of fact you're tucking like that, and it's just not helpful. Right, I think that move's pretty much covered. Just don't forget to use your arms. Always, always, always take off your tiptoes, so your balls of your feet. If you take off your heels, you're going to die. Maximise the run up and you're sorted. Now the way I don't like as much, but a lot of people sometimes find easier because of aerials, is the running butt bang movement when you take off. I don't like it as much, so my technique at this may not be as good as other people, but anyway, this is the way I do it. I push down like you would an aerial. I can't aerial, but this is how you would do an aerial. But instead of throwing your body forwards, you lift your body up with the one leg and talk your arms around. So if you've ever seen Tagachi's tutorial, it says do that for the aerial. It's a similar motion for the side. But I think as well, I do take off with my foot facing forward, and you do take off with your feet. The advantage with this one is that you don't have to consciously think about landing 1, 2 to do something else. You just sort of automatically do it. Whereas if you notice with the other side flip, the jump up and sort of automatically land too far, you have to consciously make your legs hurt. Yeah, so with that running one, just make sure again to take off that way. You always want to delay it. You always want to feel, with any side flip move, you always want to feel like your hips are going up and you're talking round, not down. So you should almost feel like, even though you may be losing height, you're pushing it up and round. And that's really a whole movement of the shoulders. Now do not be confused with the double leg, which is probably this way, which is completely different again. Now most of you have seen the Juji's double leg tutorial, or the TKD Andy Juji's double leg tutorial, which are both good, but they're different to the way I do it. And they do it by going into it, sort of stepping into it, going up like a 540, bringing their legs round, spotting their target, and sort of going round. I do it sort of like a Barani sort of setup, but not quite. So it's more of a to the sky motion rather than looking at your target. Now you go into it similar way as the side flip, but instead of turning and facing sideways like you would in the side flip and then taking off, you want to run, plant your feet at probably, say you're planning on taking off and going that way, you want to plant your feet at about 45-degree angle from where you want to go. Again, blocking. You don't want to chuck your arms up, and even though you probably won't see that you're delaying it, you want to try and delay it and push it up. Let me show you. Like that. And just see, I don't know if you noticed, but the majority of it is a body talk. So you're pushing round and your hips push up to the sky, and what you will really feel, because it's alright me saying to you jump up and swing your legs round, but it's how it feels. So a lot of people think that when they're doing a double leg, it'll feel like they take off like that, the legs stay perfectly straight round and they'll land like that. That is not true. You take off like a double leg like that, you go up, you land facing like that, so effectively you've done like a 90-degree or a 180 takeoff. With this style of double leg, that's what I'm teaching. So again, you want to plant like that, arms up, push your hips up. Now the motion I feel when I do it is I feel like my hips are pushing up, and I reach a point when I feel that I'm falling again, and I talk my body round, not down, so I'm facing the floor but not talking into the floor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Another key thing with a double leg is it's very, very easy to do one like this. Bent legs, shit. basically. It's like a side flip 90. I do it all the time when I go into like double leg to backs. It's just sloppy and easy because your legs aren't straight. It's easier to your centre of gravity, or whatever, is smaller or closer together or whatever. You read Dogan's centre of gravity and blocking tutorial, whatever. But anyway, it helps you spin around quicker. You can always try learning it that way, but ideally you want to keep your legs straight. So when you're talking up, your body's talking you around, your legs really should follow your body, like in Judy's tutorial. So your legs push around, but you should, at the same time, I always feel like my legs are pushing into the sky and then talking around to face the floor. Different motion. One more time and then call it a day, I think.
Woo!
That was pretty shit for that one.
Boo,
Anyway,
boo, boo.
Again, with the side flips, the double legs and the weird other side flip. Always take off your tiptoes. Consciously do that because it will encourage you to get more height and not just chuck it into the floor. I think that's about it, to be honest. Just jump up, use your arms, tuck it up and round, not down, and compare your technique against other people's. So if you've got a camera, make sure you're filming yourself and seeing what you're doing wrong. Because if you're not landing it, you're doing something wrong. It's not because of your power, because side flip is easy, really easy.